Tonight, Liefeld retires, Carano sues, awards given, and remember William O'Connell and Carl Withers. All that and more on this edition of Multiverse Tonight.
Comic books, sci-fi, fantasy, and more. If you're looking for a roundup of geeky news, you're in the right place. This is Multiverse Tonight. And here's your host, Thomas Townley.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome to episode 208, I believe, Multiverse Tonight. I'm, of course, your host, Thomas Townley, and this is the second time I've recorded this episode. This is kind of a how I save my podcast, say, isn't it? But yeah, apparently I updated my computer yesterday, and one of the programs reset, and when it reset, it changed the settings in Streamlabs. So while you could see me, you could not hear me. So I have to do the show all over again. But that's okay. It's a good dry run. You know, it will make it a lot easier for me to do the program today. Yesterday, of course, was the Super Bowl. And, well, you know, was a very good game, really great action, you know, very tight. Yeah. I won one bet. I won $12.99. Oh, that, and I picked Gronkowski would lose the kick of destiny too. So I got a $25 extra bet there. So I'll already put that down, so hopefully that'll turn in some actual money. And there was also the trailer for the new Deadpool movie, the Deadpool 3, Deadpool Wolverine. You know, that looked very good. But other than that, I really don't have a lot to talk about at the moment. So let's go on to the DC Comics news. And we begin DC Comics news. You know, that music was very appropriate because we're going to be talking about a documentary about legendary actor Christopher Reeve is on the way, and it's found its place at, well, a familiar home. On Friday, it was confirmed that Super/Man, the Christopher Reeve story, has landed at Warner Brothers Pictures. Duh. Following an intense bidding war and amid its debut at the 2024 Sundance Film Festival. Super/Man, the Christopher Reeve story, will be released in theaters as well as streaming as a joint venture between DC Studios, Warner Brothers Motion Pictures, HBO, CNN Films, and Max. And reports state that Warner Brothers was previously reported to be the frontrunner in the bidding war, acquired the rights to Super/Man, the Christopher Reeve story, for $15 million. According to a statement, a Discovery spokesperson said, quote, "Everyone at Warner Bros. Discovery is incredibly proud to have come together as one company to partner with Christopher Reeve's family and the filmmakers behind Super/Man, the Christopher Reeve story, and bring his personal journey to audiences the world over. WBD's DC Studios, Warner Brothers Motion Pictures, HBO, CNN Films, and Max are grateful for the opportunity to honor one of our company's most cherished creative partners and to celebrate Christopher's rich life and career." Now let's go on to the Marvel Comics news. And we start the Marvel Comics news with we have sad news. A crew member working on Marvel's Wonder Man television series died after an accident at the Rutherford Studio Center, formerly CBS Rutherford, according to Variety. The LA County coroner identified the crew member as Juan Carlos Osorio, a 41-year-old rigger who lived in Temple City. Osorio died after falling off the rafters Tuesday, following filming for Wonder Man, which was not occurring at the time of the accident, and the production is now halted. A spokesperson for Marvel said, quote, "Our thoughts and deepest condolences are with his family and friends, and our support is behind the investigation into the circumstances of this accident." You know, we send our humble wishes to him and his family. After decades of giving maximum effort as the creator of Marvel Comics standout Deadpool, Rob Liefeld, who is 56 years old, says he's putting down the pencils on Deadpool. Liefeld says that he will retire from Deadpool once he has completed work on a book for Marvel that he hopes to hit shelves in the summer, just in time for Deadpool 3, which hits theaters July 26th. The artist and co-founder of Image Comics announced his decision via Instagram, saying he would always assumed he would continue with his signature creation until much later in life, but due to his continued passion for the Merc with a Mouth. He told The Hollywood Reporter, quote, "About 10 years ago, I really felt like I was in a groove, and in my mind, I was going to do this till I was 70. But the eyes and the hands and the aches and the pains, they have a different timetable. I've learned as I've gotten older that the last year's worth of work was the hardest to produce," unquote. Now, Liefeld is proud to have written and illustrated over 1,000 Deadpool pages since the character's debut in 1990, and estimates he will have worked on 150 plus covers and 45 different #1 issues, including last year's Deadpool Battered Blood. The artist, whose creations include Marvel's Cable, Liefeld is proud to have written and illustrated over 1,000 Deadpool pages since the character's 1990 debut, and estimates he will have worked on 150 plus covers and 45 different #1 issues, including last year's Deadpool Battered Blood. The artist, whose other creations include Marvel's Cable, appreciates that the comics company emailed him late last year about working on a new offbeat Deadpool story to come out around the same time as the new film starring Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds. But Liefeld says he has had recent health setbacks and is now experiencing pain in his hands after drawing for years without much discomfort. Liefeld said about his reasons for riding off into the sunset, quote, "I can't continue to grind like this, so why not make the last grind something memorable? It's just a function of the eyes and the hands have to cooperate with your ambitions, and I can sense that this is getting harder and harder. Why not just put my own guardrails up and deliver it on my own terms?" Unquote. Now, Liefeld isn't saying much about his final Deadpool tale, but he did say that this would be an expensive story to adapt. And as for other comics work, including the new series Last Blood that recently launched, he plans to reevaluate how he's feeling at the start of next year. So, we wish Mr. Liefeld the finest of days, and, he'll probably still be at convention. So, there you go. Anyway, let's go on to the Star Trek news. Filming on Paramount Plus's Star Trek Section 31 movie is underway. Paramount Plus announced that the production began in Toronto on Section 31, which stars Academy Award-winning actress Michelle Yeoh as Emperor Philippa Georgiou, a character originated on Star Trek Discovery. Now, during the series, Georgiou joined Section 31, a secret division of Starfleet, and in the Section 31 film, Georgiou is tasked with protecting the United Federation of Planets, but must also face the sins of her past. Also announced on this movie, a supporting cast of Amari Hardwick, Casey Roll, Emmy winner Sam Richardson, Sven Rygrock, Robert Kaczynski, Humberly Gonzalez, and James Hiroko Liu. In a statement, executive producer Alex Kurtzman said, quote, "We're off to the races. Thrilled to report principal photography has started on Star Trek Section 31. We welcome our incredible cast of new characters as they join our beloved Michelle Yeoh on her next wild adventure across the Trek universe." And speaking of the Trek universe, Star Trek Lower Decks Season 4 will be released on Blu-ray and DVD on April 16th. The Star Trek Lower Decks Season 4 2-disc collection will include all 10 episodes of the season, plus exclusive audio commentary tracks from the show's cast and crew, a featurette, and more. And now, this was a milestone season for the development of characters like Beckett Mariner, who came to grips with her anxieties about taking command positions in a way that tied back to the Next Generation episode, Lower Decks. And, so be sure to pick that up when it's released. Now, let's go on to the Star Wars news.
Roger, Roger.
Actor Gina Carano is suing Disney and Lucasfilm over her firing from The Mandalorian back in 2021. She got fired over a social media post in which she compared being a Republican to being Jewish during the Holocaust. The suit, filed in California federal court, alleges wrongful termination and discrimination, as well as a demand that the court should force Lucasfilm to recast her and pay at least $75,000 in punitive damages. Now, Elon Musk is funding the suit, following his promise to pay for legal actions taken by people claiming discrimination from posts on Twitter and X. Funny enough, the posts weren't on Twitter or X. They were on Carano's Instagram stories. Now, Joe Benrek, head of business operations at X, said in a statement, quote, "As a sign of X-Corp's commitment to free speech, we're proud to provide financial support for Gina Carano's lawsuit, empowering her to seek vindication on her free speech rights on X and the ability to work without bullying, harassment, or discrimination." Now, Gina Carano played Cara Dune, the rebel soldier turned mercenary, during the first 2 seasons of The Mandalorian, but she went under immediate criticism when she shared that post from a different Instagram account in February of 2021. Carano's lawsuit, which includes several elaborate Star Wars references, says Disney and Lucasfilm made it clear that only one orthodoxy in thought, speech, or action was acceptable in their empire, and that those who dared to question or failed to fully comply would not be tolerated. Now, she also pointed to social media posts from actors like Pedro Pascal and Mark Hamill, in which Donald Trump and supporters were compared to Nazis, as acts of discrimination on the part of Disney, turning a blind eye to male co-stars' political statements with no financial or professional repercussions. Now, I'm not going to get on such a high horse this time around. You should have heard my earlier statement. But I don't know that she has much to say. Disney is, this is not a free speech thing. Disney has the right to hire you and fire you at will. Okay. So, free speech is the government has no right to tell you can't say that. Companies have every right to tell you. Walmart could tell me to knock it off, and I would have to knock it off. Okay. So I don't think she has quite the leg to stand on that she thinks she has. Anyway, on to other news. Star Wars Andor Season 2 has wrapped filming, and series star Diego Luna is saying goodbye in a touching tribute he shared on social media. Quote, "Today is the last day of filming Andor. I could not be more thankful to the entire crew for this amazing experience and the years of hard work. More than 700 people have worked on this production, and it is impossible to say goodbye and thank you to everyone individually, which is why I write here. Thank you for the love and the wonderful experience." Now, Andor Season 2 is currently not on the release slate for 2024. So, whenever we see it, we'll see it. High Republic fans have been looking forward to The Acolyte for a while now, since the first trailer was shown last year in London. So we got some news from Collider that the live-action High Republic set series from creator Leslie Headland is set to be released this summer on Disney+. Set 50 years before the events of The Phantom Menace, The Acolyte will follow a former Jedi Padawan and her one-time master as they fall into an investigation of sinister crimes in an ever-changing galaxy. The trailer that premiered at Celebration only gave fans a hint at what they can expect when the series premieres, but even so, already impressed by those lucky enough to see it with the bold visual taken on an era that has thus far not been seen on screen. Lucasfilm and Marvel Comics announced the first details surrounding the Star Wars Ahsoka tie-in comic, which will begin to be published this July. The Star Wars Ahsoka comic adaptation will be written by Rodney Barnes with pencils by Stephen Cumming and Georges Gianti. Barnes said in a statement to StarWars.com, quote, "It is truly an honor to be adapting Ahsoka. The character is the essence of classic Star Wars, layered, complex, and fun. I hope the fans enjoy this adaptation as much as the series it's adapted from." Now let's go on to the geek news. And we begin geek news with award news. First off, the Grammy Awards had several genre award winners. First off, at Song of the Year was What Was I Made For from Barbie. Best Compilation Soundtrack for Visual Media, also Barbie, the album from Barbie. Best Score Soundtrack for Visual Media, including films and television, went to Oppenheimer. Best Songwriting for Visual Media was What Was I Made For from Barbie, the album. And Best Score Soundtrack for Video Games and Other Interactive Media went to Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Congratulations to those winners. Our next awards come from the Saturn Awards. Avatar, The Wave Water, Oppenheimer, and Star Trek Picard were among the main winners at the 51st Annual Saturn Awards, which honored the best in genre entertainment. Avatar's sequel won a leading 4 awards on the film side for Best Science Fiction Film, Direction, Screenwriting, and Visual Effects after coming into the night with 12 nominations. Oppenheimer, which had 11 nominations, was named Best Thriller and won for Best Editing, while the film's Emily Blunt won Best Supporting Actress. Blunt also presented Nolan with the honorary Saturn Visionary Awards. Other honorary awards went to the Life Career honoree Jodie Foster, Keanu Reeves, Seth MacFarlane, Dave Filoni, and The Walking Dead and Star Trek The Next Generation. And another Star Trek iteration, Star Trek Picard, won 4 Saturns out of its 7 nominations, including Best Science Fiction Series, Best Actor for Sir Patrick Stewart, and Supporting Actor prizes for Jerry Ryan and Jonathan Frakes. Other multiple winners Sunday include Barbie, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, Outlander, and Wednesday. And you can see more about that in our show notes. Disney dropped a bunch of new information at the first quarter earnings call. Frozen 3 and Toy Story 5 have been confirmed, and fans of the series can look forward to that in 2026. Bob Iger, the CEO, said, quote, "And we're already looking forward to 2026 and beyond with Frozen 3, the first Toy Story movie since 2019, and a new Star Wars movie that brings the Mandalorian and Grogu to the big screen for the very first time." Unquote. So, that seems to be a pretty definitive direction from the head of the company. Now, Disney has already stated their intention to make more sequels in response to the sluggish 2023 box office. Now, a scroll of the established release schedule so far shows that there's a Pixar movie slotted for June 19th, 2026, and another untitled Disney animation project slated for November 25th, 2026. Now, could these be the dates for those movies? Who knows? However, Iger did sound confident about all these sequels, and that seems to be a strategy that Disney will not be diverting from. They're betting that some of the other high-profile underperformance stemmed from them not being slam dunk properties. Now, other notes from the earnings call included Zootopia 2, which is hitting cinemas over the Thanksgiving break on November 26, 2025. 20th Century Studios' Alien reboot movie from Fede Alvarez is now known as Alien Romulus. According to the film, it'll show young people from a distant world who must face the most terrifying life form in the universe. The movie is still set for August 16th this year and stars Kaylee Spaney, Isabella Merced, Aileen Wu, Spike Fern, David Johnson, and Archie Renault. The new feature creature from outer space movie is not connected to the FX series that Noah Hawley is behind. Other news includes Disney's Brandon Entertainment's Percy Jackson and the Olympian series getting officially renewed for a second season at Disney Plus. The second installment will follow Percy Jackson, Annabeth Chase, and Grover Underwood as they embark on new adventures based on The Sea of Monsters, the second book of the Percy Jackson and the Olympian series. Disney will also invest $1.5 billion to acquire an equity stake in Epic Games, alongside a multi-year collaboration on a new games and entertainment universe focused on Fortnite to expand the reach of Disney stories and experiences. Bob Iger, during the call, said, quote, "In addition to being a world-class gaming experience and interoperating with Fortnite, the new universe will offer a multitude of opportunities for consumers to play, watch, shop, and engage with content, characters, and stories from Disney, Pixar, Marvel, Star Wars, Avatar, and more." So, there's something else for you to look forward to. But let's go on to a different studio. In this case, Universal has cast up-and-comers Julian Denson, Gabrielle Howe, Bronwyn James, and Harry Trevelyan in the live-action adaptation of DreamWorks Animation's How to Train Your Dragon. The quartet join Mason Thames and Nico Partner, who are starring as Hiccup and Astrid, the young teens who befriend dragons, with Gerard Butler playing Stoic the Vast, who is reprising his role from the animation, and Nick Frost playing Goober the Belch, the trusted friend and advisor of Stoic. The young actors will be playing Fishlegs, Snotlout, and sister-brother duo Rough Nut and Tough Nut. The characters are part of Hiccup's friend group who will eventually learn to embrace and not fear the dragons. Dean DeBlois, who co-wrote and directed the original trilogy, will be steering the new film as writer, director, and producer. Producing alongside DeBlois is Mark Platt via his Universal-based Mark Platt Productions, as well as that company's president, Adam Siegel. Universal has set a June 30th, 2025 release date for the live-action How to Train Your Dragon. Speaking of sequels, Warner Brothers' Beetlejuice sequel has landed an official title so nice they named it twice. Beetlejuice 2024 AD will be a new movie based on the 1988 movie from Burton, which grossed $75 million domestic and forged a collaboration between him and Michael Keaton, who they would both team up again on Batman and Batman Returns, as well as the live-action Dumbo. Beetlejuice reunites Keaton with the cast members Winona Ryder and Catherine O'Hara, and joining in the mix this time around are Jenna Ortega, Willem Dafoe, Monica Bellucci, and Justin Theroux. The film's Vermont set was burglarized back in mid-July, with state police shared a post on X with photos of the sculpture piece that was stolen from the East Corinth set. The title was announced on the social media site for Warner Brothers. The pick comes out on September 6th during the post-Labor Day box office launchpad weekend made famous by It and the Nun franchises. Exhibitors told us that for a blip due to the actors' strike, Warner's was contemplating pushing the theatrical release of Beetlejuice 2, but director Tim Burton is making that date stick after a few days of last-minute shoots post-strike. Hulu is joining with other streamers in cracking down on password sharing. Hulu announced that if you are subscribers outside the household, they need to get their own account. Quote, "Unless otherwise permitted by your service tier, you may not share your subscription outside of your household. Household means the collection of devices associated with your personal residence that are used by the individuals who reside therein," unquote. Furthermore, the email added that Hulu workers may start shutting access off to accounts that are found to be in violation of these new rules. Quote, "We may, in our sole discretion, analyze the use of your account to determine compliance with this agreement. If we determine in our sole discretion that you have violated this agreement, we may limit or terminate access to the service and or take any other steps as permitted by this agreement," unquote. Now, Hulu follows in line with both Netflix and Disney Plus as the streamers start to crack down on the practice of sharing passwords with family and friends. Earlier this month, Netflix applied its efforts on password sharing, saying the change in rules has substantially improved the company's bottom line. Denis Villeneuve knows his limits. The director will not go beyond 3 Dune films even though there are more books than 3. Villeneuve said, quote, Dune Messiah should be the last Dune movie for me. I was trying to be, as a filmmaker, as invisible as possible. I tried my best to keep the poetry of the book, the atmosphere, the colors, the smell, everything that I felt when I read the book. I tried. Unquote. Now, Dune Part 2 picks up where the last one left off, with Paul Atreides reaching Chani and joining forces with the Fremen to bring down the evil Harkonnens. Rebecca Ferguson, Javier Bardem, Josh Brolin, Stellan Skarsgård, and Dave Bautista return for the sequel, although there was a pushback from the actors' strike. In the meantime, Villeneuve says he has worked on the script for Dune Messiah, which he will adapt the second of Herbert's 6 Dune novels, but that has not officially been greenlit, though. He also told Empire Magazine in August that if he succeeds in making a trilogy, it would be his dream. Dune Messiah was written in reaction to the fact that people perceive Paul Atreides as a hero, which is not what Herbert wanted to do. His adaptation will be closer to his idea that it's actually a warning. After that, he plans on saying goodbye to the franchise, a choice motivated by his avoidance of a Hollywood overly guided by money. The classic B-movie title, Attack of the 50-Foot Woman, is getting a remake from Tim Burton and Gillian Flynn. Burton is attached to direct, while Gillian Flynn will be writing. Warner Brothers is behind the project, which will be a reimagining of the 1950s genre film. The logline for the old film reads, Turned into a gigantus by an alien, a woman, played by Alison Hayes, finds her husband, William Hudson, in a bar with a floozy. Unquote. Nathan Jurian, who directed the pick, which was released by Warner's, Burton is also set to produce the project with Andrew Mittman and Tommy Harper. Kai Dolbashan will executive produce. Also coming out is 28 Years Later from Danny Boyle and writer Alex Garland. The film has landed at Sony Pictures. The Culver City-based studio has come out on top after a protracted bidding battle to win the rights to the movie 28 Days Later, which came out in 2002. Danny Boyle and Alex Garland will reunite to write and direct the sequel, which also has a part 2 to be written by Garland. Boyle would only direct the first project, but the sequel's director has yet to be determined. And finally, we end with some sad news. William O'Connell, whose extensive film, TV, and acting credits in the 1960s and 1970s include a memorable role on Star Trek and playing a string of adversaries in the films of Clint Eastwood, died January 15th at home in Sherman Oaks at the age of 94. His death was announced to Deadline.com by a family friend, but a cause was not disclosed. O'Connell scored a lengthy roster of TV episode credits in the 60s, becoming a busy actor in his day. He had small roles, often nameless characters, distinguished only by their job titles like flagman, cabbie, etc., but also popped up on shows like Highway Patrol, Peter Gunn, The Twilight Zone, Dennis the Menace, My Three Sons, The Outer Limits, Bonanza, The Munsters, Batman, and The Lucy Show. His most memorable TV role was in 1967 when he was cast in the season 2 episode of Star Trek, Journey to Babel. There he played Thaliv, the duplicitous Orion agent disguised as the Orion ambassador. His mission to destroy the Enterprise was, of course, unsuccessful, but he did manage to wound Captain Kirk with a poison knife. On the big screen, O'Connell was more familiar for frequent, if occasionally small roles and often adversarial roles in the 60s and 70s. He did movies with Clint Eastwood, including Paint Your Wagon, High Plains Drifter, The Outlaw, Josie Wales, Every Which Way But Loose, and its sequel, Any Which Way You Can. Born May 12, 1929 in Los Angeles, O'Connell served in the Korean War as a first lieutenant in the 45th Infantry, receiving many decorations, including the Bronze Star. And again, he was 94 years old. And finally tonight, Carl Weathers, who starred as Apollo Creed in the first 4 Rocky films and appeared in Predator, The Mandalorian, Happy Gilmore, Action Jackson, Arrested Development, and dozens of other films and TV shows, died. His family announced that he was 76 years old. His family said in a statement, quote, "We're deeply saddened to announce the passing of Carl Weathers. He died peacefully in his sleep on Thursday, February 1st, 2024. Carl was an exceptional human being who lived an extraordinary life. Through his contributions to film, television, the arts, and sports, he has left an indelible mark and will be recognized worldwide and across generations. He was a beloved brother, father, grandfather, partner, and friend. Born on January 14th, 1948 in New Orleans, he grew up and after playing linebacker at San Diego State University, Weathers went undrafted but signed with the Oakland Raiders. He played 8 NFL games for Coach John Madden in the 70-71 season before joining the British Columbia Lions of the Canadian Football League, where he played from 1971 to 1973. He then began a screen career during that era with guest shots on such TV series as Good Times, Kung Fu, SWAT, The $6 Million Man, and Cannon. And as the decades went on, he went to appear in episodes of Starsky and Hutch, Barnaby Jones, Switch, The Streets of San Francisco, and other popular shows. He returned to his action roots in the late 90s, doing TV movies like Assault on Devil's Island and Assault on Death Mountain, starring opposite Hulk Hogan. Weathers began amassing film credits in 1975 with a pair of blaxploitation picks, Bucktown and Friday Foster, and had other movie roles such as Semi-Tough, Force 10 from Navarone, Death Hunt, and Hurricane Smith. But his career really took off during 1976. Stallone was a new actor and screenwriter when United Artists released Rocky, the underdog boxer drama that would enter the cultural zeitgeist. Weathers was cast as Creed, the beloved star-spangled and understandably cocky heavyweight champion who sees dollar signs and good publicity, and by giving a Philadelphia local a title shot. Now, the film won Best Picture and 2 other Oscars on 10 nominations, including Best Actor Original Screenplay for Stallone and Bill Conti's rousing brass meets disco tune "Gonna Fly Now," which topped the Billboard Hot 100. Carl Weathers would come back for the second and fourth movies in the Rocky franchise. Weathers appeared in more than 75 films and TV shows during his 50-year career. He played Grief Karga, the head of the Bounty Hunters Guild, in 9 episodes of The Mandalorian over its 3 seasons, with the character becoming close to Pedro Pascal's Mando as the series progressed. Weathers was nominated for the role for an Emmy in 2021 and directed a pair of episodes in seasons 2 and 3. Weathers then also showed off his acting chops in a memorable arc on Arrested Development, playing a version of himself as an ad hoc acting coach who proudly offered tips on saving money at everything from food buffets to airport rides, appearing in 4 episodes across the first 4 seasons of the Emmy-winning series. He also appeared as Police Chief Hampton Forbes in more than 24 episodes of the 89 to 95 TV series In the Heat of the Night, starring Carol O'Connor. Weathers was a series regular in the 93-94 season and appeared in the post-series telefilms. He also voiced Combat Carl in the Oscar-winning Toy Story 4, originating the character in the 2013 TV special Toy Story of Terror. Other credits include the 1998 acting turn in Action Jackson, which earned him an NCAA Image Award nomination, and came out starring opposite Arnold Schwarzenegger in 1987's Predator, playing Al Dillon, the CIA operative, an old friend of Dutch, who were stalked by a mysterious life form that didn't end well for his character. But Weathers is, of course, best known for playing Apollo Creed, the heavyweight champion of the world, who gave Rocky Balboa the shot then gave him a second shot in Rocky 2, and his character trained Rocky Balboa in Rocky 3. And the final film of the franchise, Rocky 4, he died battling Russian heavyweight Ivan Drago. I will break you. Weathers also had a memorable term as Derek Chubbs Peterson, playing opposite Adam Sandler in Happy Gilmore. Pearson was a pro golfer who was forced to leave the tour after losing his hand to an alligator, which was the source of many of the film's gags. Weathers also has an emerging career as a TV director, along with The Mandalorian. In recent years, he's helmed episodes of Chicago Med, FBI, Law and Order, The Last OG, Hawaii Five-0, For the People, 18 Wheels of Justice, and Strong Medicine. He was also in a Super Bowl commercial this past Sunday. Carl Weathers was 76 years old. And with that, we reach the end of this edition. Now, please check us out on social media. We're on Twitter at Multiverse Tom. We're also on Facebook and Instagram as well. We're also on Blue Sky and Threads. So, look out for me there. Reach out and touch me. Now, if you found value in the show, please feel free to contribute. Check out our show notes, visit our TeePublic store, and so much more at multiversetonight.com. And if you're a subscriber, be sure to share us with friends. And if you're brand new to the show, thank you. Please be sure to subscribe, leave some feedback, and let us know how we're doing. Now, special thanks to Shane Ivers for the intro music and Lobo Loco for the outro theme music. Thanks for watching this edition of Multiverse Tonight. We'll be back in 2 weeks with more sci-fi and comic book news. Now, please exit the universe in an orderly fashion. Good night. Multiverse Tonight is a production of Half Baked Genre Productions. Copyright 2024. All rights reserved. This podcast is part of the Pop Goes the Culture podcast network. Find out more about our other podcasts at popgoestheculture.com.